About this and about technology and teens in general, family psychologist Jen Hartstein, who specializes in working with adolescents. And we have digital safety expert Adam Dodge. He's the creator of EndTab, a company that educates organizations and people about online safety. He's also the founder of the Tech Savvy Parent. Good to have both of you with us. I just want to start where you left off. I mean, this issue of deep fakes, Adam, I'll start with you. What do we do? I'm a parent. I don't know how to talk about this. What do we do?
Well, I think raising awareness about what these are, how they work. What AI has done is it's given our kids, their friends, and people who want to do them harm the ability to edit and create videos that they were never in, photos that they were never in. And so by having the conversation, first off, and letting them know, hey, as your parent, I'm aware of this technology. I know it's harmful. And having this conversation regularly can at least open up a dialogue and lets them know that you understand and you're there for them.
Dr. Jen, let's get into the nitty-gritty, though, how we do that, right? Especially if a teenager doesn't want to talk about a picture or an image that might involve nudity. I mean, what do you say? Give us the words.
Give you the words. So, I mean, there's some steps before we get to the words, right? So the first thing is we want to just kind of ask the question, as Adam said, like, what do you know about this? Let's kind of understand knowledge base and lean in with curiosity. Don't lean in with anger, frustration, punitively, right? Which is really hard when you're already with judgment, right? It's so hard when you're already nervous. As adults in the lives of kids, we talk too much. So I recommend that everybody listen more, talk less.
I see the teenagers in the audience going like, yep.
I'm on your side, I promise. Talk, so listen more, talk less, and then start to ask things like, tell me what you know. I'm really curious to understand what might be happening. Can you show me what you're looking at, right? If I know that I can approach you with that stuff without you being super judgmental and getting mad at me, I'm gonna be more open to sharing it with you as a teenager. And the truth is that you're learning about it at the same rate, probably more slowly than the teens are.
And then how do you, yes, it is good advice. How do you get kids on the right track to have a healthy relationship with this technology?
So I think that's part of the conversation, right? As you're all learning about it, I want to know more about, well, what are you doing with it? And what do you think is the right thing? Just the same way we would talk about how are you being engaged with your friends and how are you being engaged with social media. Those lessons that we've been kind of practicing up till now are the things we need to be continuing to discuss with AI because it is a little bit more unharnessed.
Adam, I'm going to read some statistics. I find some of these numbers just stunning. The number of deepfake videos online skyrocketing, up 550% in 2023 compared to 2019. But here's the big one, with pornography making up 98% of those videos. Tell us, especially like in the halls of a school and stuff like that, not necessarily some we think a lot of political videos or something when we say deepfakes, but just among classmates, how is this being used for things like bullying with teens?
Yeah, make no mistake, deepfakes are about sexual violence. They're about sexualizing women and girls, like that, full stop. And the way it's being used to bully folks is by inserting them into videos, often pornographic, that they were never in fact in, or using, that's what deepfakes are. That's why most people have sort of negative connotations about deepfakes. But then with photos, you have undressing apps, which with the push of a button, you can make a non-explicit photo appear explicit. And because it's so easy to do, because these things are being marketed on social media platforms through targeted ads, it creates a legitimacy around them. And if we're not having these conversations in our schools, in our communities, then the first point of contact about this is going to be an algorithm instead of a trusted voice like a parent.
You just said marketed. Like you're saying that kids are seeing this stuff being pushed at them, like, hey, buy this app so that you can make a nude photo.
Yeah, and I think it's worth repeating. You just said it's a normal picture and you can take the clothes off someone. Yeah,
it's like Photoshop in your pocket. So you press a button and it digitally removes, using AI, digitally removes the clothing and makes it appear to be a hyper-realistic nude image. And the problem is, these are synthetic. They're not, in fact, real photos, but, and this is, I think, where parents can have a lot of agency, is by understanding the fact that even though the images aren't real, the harm is very real, right? Because no one cares that they're fake.
Yeah, well, Jen, so if you have a child that this has happened to, I want to ask you about both things. I want to ask you about you have a child who's accidentally had a photo made of them that they had no agency in. Also on the flip side, what if you have the child who's making them?
Yes.
Who's creating these photos and sending them around?
Correct. So let's start with the kind of the kid that didn't ask for it and got it, right? So I don't want to call them victims because I really think think that there is an empowerment opportunity to take back your identity and take back your space. But I am the person who didn't ask for this. And we have to be that. Again, I'm going to go back to the idea that as a parent, I have to be that safe space so that if this happens, my child does not have to suffer in silence because they don't have to be embarrassed to come because my parent isn't going to approach me with judgment, right? So we want to be a safe space, an open space, and then, like the parents in Valerie's piece, what do we want to do about it? How do we get it taken down? How do we use those sites? How do we get any sort of protection for our child so it doesn't become something spread everywhere is kind of the first piece of that. And you might have to get them some professional help to get some additional support to talk through it. It's traumatic. Right?
Oh,
and when you're the bully, which is essentially what this is a new wave of, and a new, as you mentioned, a new kind of bullying, there are different psychological issues for the bully, and we have to be able to get them support. We all just get really mad and punitive, but there's a reason someone feels they have to act that way. I am not excusing behavior at all. Behavior is the thing that gets us into trouble. But what's the emotional component, the psychological component behind that? And if you know that you are the parent of a kid who's doing the bullying, you have to get them some help, because this isn't probably the only time or the only place that that's happening, and they need to be able to talk to someone safely about it.
We did get some viewer questions from people who are not in the room but who will be watching this, who are interested in this. Here is one from a parent of a 16-year-old who asks, how can kids safely use technology while protecting their privacy? Because that's really, it's the balance here, right? How do you do it but do it safely? Adam, what do you say to that?
Well, so much about this is about privacy and about consent. Right? These images are being created, they're violating our privacy, and we're not giving anybody consent to do this. I think it's why people find them so, even though they know they're not real, they find them so distressing and awful, because it really does violate our bodily autonomy, it violates our consent, we didn't give permission for that. And a lot about privacy, people are trafficking in our data all the time. We didn't give them permission to do that. So really centering permission and consent around this, having conversations about bodily autonomy that don't just include our physical bodies, but also include our images. And if someone's thinking about like creating these images, helping them understand how harmful this is and how it's such a violation of their privacy if you create an explicit nude of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Adam Dodge.
Dr. Jen Hartstein, thank you both very much. What a fascinating conversation.
Thank you.